impressed me. And like I said, even though I'm a big pump the brakes guy with him, which isn't popular nowadays, but over Gino and the Sanchez, is they didn't feel the pressure. This guy does, and you know what? You can't teach that. He knows. Now, granted, sometimes maybe his happy feet and bails a little too quickly out of the pocket. Mm-hmm. But he, for the most part, senses the pressure, either gets rid of it or bails out. Man, those guys, it's like that's why they got hurt, because they just never saw it coming.
Right.
He at least sees it coming, so that's one thing in his favor. And again, it's hard to teach that.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, Darnold, even though a lot of people are talking about Baker Mayfield, and he has had a better start than Darnold, but people don't notice, or people in New York anyway, don't notice when Baker's had his bad games, because he's had a couple of bad games as well. So,
exactly.
But I still think Darnold will eventually be the best quarterback of this class. And I don't think the Jets made. In fact, we talked a couple of weeks ago. I'm starting to think now that the Giants might have made a mistake in not taking Darnold, even though Saquon Barkley has been a revelation. But when you look at what Eli is doing with the Giants, and when you look at what their best players are all so young, why not? And that was, again, another reason why I was talking about Bridgewater, because he would have been a young guy with Beckham, with Barkley. But the Giants are going to need to address their quarterback situation, because Eli is he's not getting it done anymore. And what, 37, 38 years old? I mean, it's not coming back.
No, and I'll tell you what, that's going to be a fascinating thing. I mean, I don't like to get into these Giants-Jets things because, to me, rivalry, but they only play for real once every 4 years. It's not like Yankees-Red Sox or something like that. But like you said, that will be something to watch in the next 3, 4, 5 years, who made the right choice. Because I have to admit, as much as I wish we could go back in time to 1977, and the ground game is important. As special a talent as Barkley is, and he is, I mean, he's not just a running back. I mean, just an average running back. He's a very special talent.
He's outstanding.
I think we've all found out, like you kind of alluded to, is you don't win nowadays with great running backs. It just doesn't happen. The position, unfortunately, because the rules has been devalued. You win with great quarterbacks. And I even tweeted yesterday, I mean, I think Darnold's ceiling is very high, but I haven't figured out what it is yet. So to me, the story is being written. But yeah, does he have a chance to be very, very good? He certainly does, and I would say that more so again than when Sanchez and Gino were rookies at this stage.
Right, and well, I mean, the other way of looking at it is, and people are doing it already, is the Giants could very well have a top 5 pick in the next draft, and they'll be surrounded by teams that won't need a quarterback. So let's see what happens there. I mean, stay tuned, I guess, as they say.
We're talking with JP Pelzman, Jets beat writer for Forbes.com. Last week was the 50th anniversary of the Jets winning the Super Bowl, the only one they've ever won, we should say. And I'm just curious. I mean, I've always been a Joe Namath fan. His shadow still carries over on this team 50 years later, doesn't it? It
does, because let's face it, Rob. Anytime he speaks, it's an event. I mean, and he's always getting solicited his opinion on the Jets. And I can tell you from the inside that relationship has gone up and down. I mean, he's never certainly been banned or anything like that, and he's certainly never stayed away. I mean, it's not like Yogi as Rocky as Yogi and the Yankees were at times.
He's not Charles Oakley.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's an even better one. But it's been up and down sometimes. But you're right. He does carry weight because of that, because that moment has become such a seminal moment, because they haven't even gotten back. I mean, they made the conference finals a few times, but never gotten back. So yeah, and just I think the mystique, that there's just something about him that even now, I mean, yeah, he's got the Pennsylvania mixed with Southern accent or something, but where he says the word play.
Play, yeah, I was going to say play.
But, it's hard. The guy is magnetic. I mean, I've been in pressers with him, and there's just something about him. He as they say, to use a word that's overused, but he still has gravitas.
I agree. I also think that one thing about him, I think his football knowledge has always been good, and I wish he was out there more doing analysis or post-analysis on the games, because I really think, I know he's in Florida now, so I'm not sure if he's going to fly up here to do it.
Why not?
But I really think when I've seen him talk about the game, he still watches it as a player and a guy saying, well, we can do this or that, and that type of thing. So,
no question, Rob. The one thing I'd like to say is, and again, I'm certainly not downing the Peyton Mannings and Tom Brady's, who obviously are all-time legends, and certainly changed a lot of plays at the line, especially Peyton. But you think about it. You think about those guys of his era, and just a few years after. You think of Namath and Bradshaw.
Bradshaw, yeah, definitely.
I mean, Staubach not. He was like the first guy that couldn't because of Landry, but Bradshaw.
Well, Bradshaw brags about it. I get on the line, I change the damn thing right.
Exactly. I'm drawing plays up in the dirt. You know what I mean? Bart Starr. That's the name I was searching for.
Yeah.
Snake Stabler.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were kind of making up as they went along. So there's a lot of knowledge there. Whereas, that's to me the problem with Darnold is. And again, every rookie quarterback's going to be like this. He's kind of married to his first read right now. There was one play, guys, yesterday where, I don't know if you remember, I think it was in the third quarter. He was throwing one of those bubble screens to the outside. He triple pumped and then wisely just threw it into the ground.
Oh, yeah, that one almost got intercepted.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying on TV. It was like, oh, he's got to be careful there because that could have been a pick six.
It could have been, but the point was he's triple pumping and just look at the guy and it's like, dude, can you look to your right? There might be somebody there.
Yeah, because his footwork was really strange on that play too.
It was.
Because I was kind of, what is he doing? But like you said, he was only looking to the left and he was only looking at the screen, and nothing else ever occurred to him. What if something was open downfield? At least take the shot. But yeah, that whole play was just a disaster.
Yeah, and that's also one thing I'll also bring up is after these next 3 games, they'll finally have their bye. It always seems, I mean, is it just me? They just always seem to have a bye in like November. They
late
have
in the season.
Buys.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know why that is, but it just seems like, except for the year where they played in London and they had a bye in October. But that to me will be a key thing because you can almost kind of have like a mini training camp then, and just kind of go over things with him again. Because again, that's my one problem with him right now. I don't think he's seeing the field. But guess what? Very few rookies do.
Right.
JP, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Look forward to having you on again. We've been talking to JP Pelzman, the Jets beat writer at Forbes.com. You want to check out all of JP's articles, go to Forbes and then do a search on JP Pelzman. Or just type in JP Pelzman, Google, and you'll find him.
Thanks so much, Leonard Brothers. Always a pleasure.
Always good
talking
to you.
Thanks, JP. Good stuff, JP. As always.
Take care. 516-572-7440. You're listening to From the Press Box right here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College.
A Super Bowl champion, U.S. Congressman, publisher of Long Island Business News, award-winning authors, physical fitness life coach, and celebrities like Billy Crystal and Eddie Murphy? I had no idea so many awesome people got their start at Nassau Community College.
Well, they're always saying that NCC is where success stories begin. With people like that as graduates, it must be true.
Hello, I'm Dr. Linda Nadian.
And I'm Aurora Workman, the president of Nassau Community College Alumni Association.
Together, we're the hosts of Lion Tales, a show that highlights proud graduates of Nassau Community College. Join us each week when distinguished alumni stop by to share stories, laugh a little, and remind us what things were like when they were students at Nassau Community College.
My fabulous friend Linda and I will also share the latest alumni news and updates, so tune in Tuesdays at 4 p.m. to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, or listen online with the iHeartRadio app.
.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. From the press box on your radio or on your listening device at the iHeartRadio app. Also at tunein.com. And, of course, it all starts at nccradio.org. This show becomes a podcast later, starting with Spreaker.com, but it also is on iTunes and a couple other places. So if you want to hear the show again or if you miss it or you only caught part of it, the podcast is there, so please listen to it that way. Matter of fact, our interview last week with Jeff Pearlman, USFL, a lot of USFL fans out there. Hard to believe.
A lot of hits.
We got a lot of hits.
A lot of hits
on that.
Good.
So
outstanding.
Yeah. So let's quickly talk about Charles Wong. He died yesterday. The death was not announced, but then we found out most likely it's lung cancer or some sort of cancer.
Yeah, cause of death.
I mean,
they did announce it.
Wong was the co-owner of the Islanders for many years. He basically saved the Islanders from going to Hamilton, Canada, or
Kansas
City or some other southern team.
Pick a city.
And
they could have been in Las Vegas before the Knights finally arrived.
Yeah, that could have been too. And he was technically a minority owner in the team because recently, because when he sold the team, he didn't sell the whole team for tax purposes.
Right,
you keep a certain amount for tax purposes. So technically, he was still there. I give him credit. I remember in 2002, Rob Tuck and I, we had a Thursday package, and they used to show this video package. And then at the end, they'd go to Charles Wang and Sanjay Kumar, and the place would erupt. How many times did you get an owner getting cheered like that?
Well, because that was. I mean, I look at Charles Wang, and he was. There were some good things and there were some bad things as well. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. No. But Charles Wang, the biggest thing to me that he did was he kept the Islanders in New York. And we still have a team to root for because of Charles Wang.
That's true.
He is the reason for that. Now, he did some bad things too. He gave Garth Snow possibly one of the most ridiculous management contracts ever given in sports. Because Garth Snow, apparently, I don't know that there was actually an end date on the contract. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but it seemed like it was really difficult to get rid of Garth Snow.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And it took Charles Wang selling the team or the majority stake in the team to the current owners, and for them to finally say, after a season, all right, you know what? This guy is inept. We need to get rid of him, and we need to pay him whatever it was, $15 million or whatever it was.
Big amount.
An enormous buyout number. And that was on Charles Wang.
And one thing Charles Wang did allow was his team revolted against Peter Laviolette, which
but that happens.
But
that's not on an owner.
But you know what? You sit down and say this guy's a good coach. He got us in. In 2002, come on.
It's not an owner's job.
Well, I'm sorry.
The players,
if you're going to listen to the players, you have to stand up for your coach at the same time.
The players,
unless you want your coach gone.
No, because that's how sports is. Coaches only have so much of a shelf life before the players will say, "All right, you know what? I'm not listening to this guy anymore." And every coach knows that.
I have no problem with that.
Every coach knows that.
So anyway, and the other thing I thought that Wang, didn't do right was the Nassau Coliseum thing, where he tried to convert it. He wanted to put a 60-story tower there, and
he wanted to redevelop the area.
Yeah,
and he was willing to put $1 billion of his own money into it.
Right,
and it got voted down.
But before that, it was originally going to be 60 stories, which you really can't do over there. There's not enough parking. And now look at the Coliseum. It looks like a tin can. The Islanders moved to Barclays, which he allowed to happen. He could have. He knew he was selling the team. He could have held off another year, and then maybe the new owners could have came in and said, "Okay, let's get a better deal." As much as I look forward to the Belmont Park thing, I think it's going to be a mess to get to the Belmont Park. Having lived in Elmont for a year and a half, I know the traffic situation there.
Yes, I understand. I understand your fears for that area. But at least the Islanders are staying and they're building in this area.
Yes, that's true.
And again, that goes back to Charles Wang.
I agree with you there. So he had good and bad.
Yeah, and another bad was the fact that they barely made the playoffs while he was the owner.
Yeah.
And
he did lose money, but he had a lot of money. He had
plenty of money to lose.
Anyway, just want to remind you, brother, that Rock Overdose is on Mondays and Tuesdays at 2 p.m. right here on 90.3. You can never truly overdose on rock music, and hosts Peter and Greg prove it. That's Rock Overdose every Monday and Tuesday at 2 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC.
Love those guys.
The voice of Nassau Community College. Big Ed is here, Timothy. I mean, it's hard to believe Big Ed is here, because Big Ed's always here. But Big Ed is here right now, getting into the moment.
Yes, bro. I think with how froggy your voice sounds, I think you should probably talk less about Big Ed and get us off the air, because
my voice is getting worse. Actually,
yeah, you're starting to sound a little less.
No, I got a head cold.
You're starting to sound a little worse.
I got a chest cold.
I'm getting worried.
Okay, good.
No, I thought I wasn't even going to make it here today.
I'm getting worried.
Be kept away.
I'm getting worried about all the germs that are in the studio right now. I'm thinking about fleeing right now.
We should call a hazmat team in here.
That's what I'm thinking about.
And really, Tim, because it's not going to get any better.
I was about to put on the yellow suit and the headgear and everything else.
It's fine in here. Trust me.
I feel germs floating around around the studio.
Anyway, that just about does it for From the Press Box. Thank you for listening. We're here every Monday